Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to Entransient. Check it out! All right. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I'm talking to Scott, Jeremy, Doug, Nick, and Matt of Entransient. How you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Right?
Excellent. Oh, and we've got a fan in the background at Nick's, and we did have Paul. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin after he gets his computer things issues. But guys, thanks so much for being on Fans with Bands. I'm super excited to have you here because you have a new album. It's called Ghosts in the Halls, and you guys were cool enough to let me get an advance listen to that thing, and I was blown away. It was so good. It was awesome. And I was just thinking back to, when I first saw you guys back in, I think it was 2015, opening for ISD.
So the heavy metal bake sale?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it was
Nice.
our second show ever.
Yeah, it was our second show ever, yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah. So I feel like I've been in from the ground floor, and it's super cool. And I was curious, with this new album, how do you think it compares to the other two albums you guys did? And we can kind of go around the horn because I'm sure each of you have a little different feel of how that differs. Maybe start with Matt.
So how's the new one compared to the last two?
Yeah, how do you feel it compares or contrasts with what you guys have done before?
I mean,
I know it's a big loaded question.
it is. I think the biggest contrast is just like if you listen to our albums sequentially, like first, second, third, you can definitely. Yes. You want that one?
There are children on the new album, and
yeah, no kidding.
as albums have gone on, there have been more children born to the band.
I mean, I think it's if you listen to all the albums in order, it's pretty clear that, at least in my opinion, that our songwriting has gotten better with each one. And I think just our influences too, because I've always listened to a lot of stuff anyways, but over the years I listened to more and more and more different things, and I think that kind of affects the sounds of the album and what we're writing and all that.
You can't help but have some things that you listen to bleed in just a bit. I mean, it may not be blatant, but yeah.
You can definitely tell when Matt got super inspired by the Foo Fighters, about 3 or 4 years ago. He just went to town.
I did go to town.
And wrote 20 songs that all sounded like the Foo Fighters.
It's like every night we're getting a text, hey, I got a new song idea.
When I was writing for I think it was this record, or what came to be this record, I was listening to just a ton of the Foo Fighters, but also the new Amorphous album at the time, Queen of Time. Yeah. I was so into that.
Nice.
It was like these big chuggy chordy riffs and these melodic leads over everything. So that's what I was doing.
Majestic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or trying to do anyway. And and we all get together and we all put our own spin on everything, and that becomes an Entransient song. It's kind of how the whole process kind of works, really.
Yeah. So how about everybody else? How do you feel this one compares to the other albums?
I think.
Go ahead, Scott.
No. The first one, I think we didn't really know exactly what we were yet on the first.
No.
And if you have. If we have to describe it now, we still don't really know what we are yet. But we were still kind of figuring it out at the time, and it actually started as kind of a side project. We each had heavier bands, so we kind of, the conversations we had were something more in that Alcest, Anathema, that sort of area of music.
What up, JoJo?
And now this is all we do. So
JoJo.
now we just all do whatever we want without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I specifically remember presenting a whole bunch of ideas for album one, and Matt and Scott were like, nah, that's kind of not what we're going for right now.
Yeah, that doesn't happen at all anymore.
And then album two comes
let's do it.
Album two comes around, I got these ideas. We're like, yep.
Yeah.
Just
seriously.
bring it back around.
Like expectations just kind of went out the window. It's like, we'll just write whatever, and if it's sweet, we'll use it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. How about Doug or Jeremy?
Yeah. for me, the difference between the first album and the second one is I wasn't around for the first one. So there's a whole lot more of me on the second album. But yeah, I think Matt definitely nailed it. The difference between, I think, the last album and this one is definitely a growth in the songwriting. I think just from when I heard the first album and like just really dug the sound that these guys had gone for on that one. And then getting to join and then doing the second album, it's like, okay, we went for a little bit heavier sound on the second album, not fully heavy, but we went a little bit heavier. And then on this album, I think we went just even further. We're just like, let's just open up the floodgates and just see whatever comes out. And then obviously with Matt, listen to a lot of Foo Fighters and that stuff definitely helped with that sort of sound. But I also like that lyrically, I think there's a big difference between the last album and this one. I think everything has a much more mature.
Got a lot better. Yeah. You and Scott knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Scott definitely for sure. Like the stuff every time he came in with, hey, here I got lyrics for this. It's like, dude, just absolutely nailed it. So that was always fun every time he came in with lyrics. But I think that for me was a big jump between the last album and this one.
Cool. And Jeremy, anything you wanted to add?
I want to add that Matt just now at age, how old are you now? 34? Just started listening to the Beatles.
Oh, true story.
This is the weirdest thing ever. I wanted to jump in earlier. So the next album will be just like Love Me Do times 10.
Well, so that's funny because I was a total late bloomer to the Beatles. I love the Beatles now. Like the Beatles, all right, so not like pop Beatles, like
right,
from
Sgt. Pepper Beatles,
Revolver, Sgt. Pepper, Abbey Road, Let It Be. I watched that whole damn thing, which was like watching.
Oh yeah, that was
I felt like I was watching band practices that I had been in, going. And but yeah, I totally get being a late bloomer to that music, but then being very so yeah, that's cool. I did want to touch on a tune because I wrote about it in the review I did, and it's Synergize, and I was very I was super intrigued with that tune because it's got like this almost kind of a poppy beat, right? The music's uplifted, but the lyrics sounds like it's just like a big fuck you to and I'm curious, am I right or did I totally miss the boat? What is the background behind that tune?
Well,
Scott, okay, there you go.
Well, Scott, take this one.
Matt and Doug and me are we all work in IT in the like kind of business analyst area, and that's just kind of like the language, the
garbage
chunk of our lives.
Office jargon.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
I hate it so much.
Yeah, lots of parking lots and circle back. And,
Yeah.
So
touch base at the touch point.
We were just jamming, we're just jamming that song, and I just started singing those words to be funny.
Right, because it came organically, more or less, out of a conversation. And then I work for an aerospace company, and we get emails with all sorts of office propaganda from the higher ups and everything like that, with like, let's leverage our perspective, team. No, shove it up your ass.
Just use words that mean stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Just use normal language, please.
Yeah,
I thought it was perfect though, because I also come from that background, IT, business IT, and I totally felt like I was sitting in some meeting with some CEO blathering on about bullshit, or being forced to go to some kind of like meeting to understand the latest and greatest in agile blah 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 blah, and you're like,
oh my God, dude.
Yeah, maybe we just
I'm going through that. I'm going through that. I'm going through that at work right now. It's just,
just talking about it makes me want to pull out the industrial grade size bottle of Glenmorangie.
We really should have thrown in like story points and crap into that song.
Oh yeah,
would have been something else.
But we actually,
how many story points is that going to be?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We had kind of talked about like keeping it that way, as just business, but I liked the song too much for it to be like completely 100% meaningless nonsense. So I kind of went back and kind of used it as kind of a metaphor for the way that we talk down to other people that we don't feel like listening to. And that's there if you look for it.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that's a good confirmation, because that's sort of where I felt you guys are going with that, and that it's like this is a metaphor for the circles of non-communication that we do. So we're communicating all the time, but we're not saying anything. No one's really talking to each other. We're touching base, but we're really not connecting. That's what I took out of it.
Yep.
So awesome.
Yep. 100%.
And the other song that I wanted to know a little bit more about is Above the Stars. So how did that song come about? Because it was super intriguing to me, and I was kind of curious about the meaning and the construction of that song.
I Above the Stars. I think
Yeah, I
I
think that
made
was
the
one
demo.
of your ideas.
Yeah, I made the
Yeah,
demo to that.
it came
one.
from you
that,
originally.
that was the first demo I submitted for the new album. I made that
Oh, yeah.
like 2017.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
And that
it's
was
been
it
kicking
was
around
pretty
the
it was
longest.
pretty Catatonia inspired, which I think it comes through pretty
Yeah.
heavily, which
Yeah.
whatever. But did they have a new album in 2017? Is that why I was into it so hard? They might have. I don't remember.
City
anymore.
Burials, maybe.
I think it was the
I think
Fall of Hearts
so.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Fall of Hearts had come out. Then I was
Yeah,
really into that.
yeah.
So that's kind of where that came from.
Cool.
And then the middle meadly section was just kind of what kind of thing we were doing at the time anyway. And I just love that kind of stuff anyhow. So
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a great
There's, there's a
song.
lot more meadly stuff on the last album. And I do love the
for
mead.
sure.
There
Yeah.
was specifically a very off kilter chord in the original demo.
Oh, that's
and,
right.
And
Yeah, we had a lot of
and-
arguments
and
Oh
about
many-
god, the fight.
and
Nick hated it.
it's
Oh.
not, it wasn't in the right key, and it wasn't in anything, and it drove me bonkers. So
It wasn't in anything.
it was to the point
Yeah.
where we were doing it this way, or we're not doing the song at all. But
Yeah,
I was like, I
over
love the
one chord,
dissonance.
but
Oh,
Yeah.
it's way
Well,
better.
then-
It's way
then
better
after-
after change.
yeah,
It's not even-
yeah, after
With
Nick
that-
was like, no, like listen to it, do it this way, and we all listened. Okay, yeah, Nick's right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I still
Yeah,
fought it.
it took a
I
while
still,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still fought it though, but everybody else was like, "Well, you are the drummer. You don't have to play in a dissonant key here."
I kind of want to hear
All
the
right, fair
original demo again and just like cringe at how bad it actually
Well,
was.
yeah, I'm
It was good.
I'm curious.
I don't know, man. It's a lot better now.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna share it to Chuck now. Now that this happened.
He's gonna go, yeah, this is
Yeah.
terrible.
He's gonna listen to it and go, yeah, you guys made the right decision.
Yeah.
Nick was 100% right.
Exactly. So we've got fans, and it's not just about me talking and asking questions. I want to give the fans a chance. So we got Jojo and Paul. How you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Doing all right. How are you?
All right,
Is
excellent.
this even working?
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah,
can
we
hear you.
got you.
Okay, good. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Excellent.
Hey.
Good, how's it going?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So did you guys
Just got the album. I've only been able to listen to it once, so I haven't quite gotten associated, gotten into it yet. But from what I heard, it is very good. I like it. I think it's a continued improvement from the last one, which was, I guess, God, it's been, when did we see you guys? Like in the
3 years
fourth
ago?
one?
Years ago.
Is that
2019.
2019.
2019, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, that was. A
Will you
blast.
guys be touring anytime soon?
Ooh.
I would love to.
Probably not.
If the opportunity
But, yeah.
presented itself, we would definitely probably do it. But yeah, just around Michigan.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a difficult thing because, everybody except for
Just, yeah,
Doug and
depends.
myself have kids and full-time. We all have full-time jobs and everything like that. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of fitting in schedules and what have you, and seeing if maybe there's a tour we can jump onto. So we're not just going out there and playing for the maybe
Yeah, that too.
5 people that wander in drunkenly.
For the bar
in a
staff
town
and
we've
one or two
never been in
regulars.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think
Well,
if the
hopefully we'll see you at
opportunity presents
Ozfest
itself.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Would love to.
Yeah, we
We're
want
all-
to do festivals and stuff again too.
we're planning on at least going back to Rossfest as fans for sure in the very near
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. Just an aside, we played at Rossfest in 2019, and that was
Yep.
awesome.
Nice.
That was
Yeah.
so-
Excellent.
that was
Yeah,
so
incredible
fun.
experience.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jojo,
Yeah,
are you-
unfortunately, we can't do it this year because
okay.
we got the cruise and we just came back from the Midwest to
Mhm.
see Nectar. So this year we're passing on Rozfest. So this is a good year to skip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Did you guys have any, Jojo or Paul? Do you have any other questions for these guys?
I got tons of questions. I don't really know where to start really, but I guess first thing is like, do you guys, how are you gonna handle? I heard on TMZ that you guys can't play the Oscars for like 10 years. Is that true?
No comment.
Yeah. Well, we've been advised by our lawyers to not discuss that. So
Oh
Yes.
At
man.
least until we
I
get
didn't
paid
want to
for
play
it.
there anyway.
Well, your music like totally slaps. So I just thought that you should just keep
One of
doing
you
what
is
you're doing.
slap you.
Oh,
Um,
man.
Is it also true that you have this really awesome gig coming up just like in 2 weeks or something? Can you tell us about that?
That's right.
yeah, we do. We got a couple dates coming up. So we have, gosh, is it next weekend already? We have
Yep.
in Detroit, we're
Oh.
playing with ISD.
The 23rd.
And
And this
Yep.
other band
And-
called the
And-
Andrews, I
Yeah,
guess?
and-
and
I hear they're pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
They're all right.
And what other shows you got besides that? Because I can't go, which I'm sad about.
Oh, yep.
Um,
Then the following week we have we're playing at Turnstiles in Grand Rapids.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
As with a band called Paradigm Shifter, who is an instrumental prog metal band,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
Sex Muscle.
nice.
Yes.
And we have
Or
no
just
idea
Sex
who
Muscle.
Sex
We don't know.
Muscle is.
we don't know.
That's all we know about that.
Yeah, that's all we know, but
If
I'm
you-
sold.
Yeah, but if you
Yeah.
look on the venue's own event that they set up, it's got Entransient, our bio, Paradigm Shifter, bio, Sex Muscle.
That's it.
yeah, that's it.
That's all you
I
need.
mean,
That's
really.
it.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you
But
need.
we don't know. They don't have a Facebook page. They don't have an Instagram page. They don't have this, that, or the other thing. I don't know who they are.
They don't need it. You put that
Maybe
on
it's
the, on the
Iggy
bottom.
Pop in disguise or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, there
could
was
be
a
that.
joke
You
going
never know.
around that maybe it was like one of my old bandmates just jumped on the show just to troll us. I'm not sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it
He's like,
reminds
oh,
me
Jeremy's
of
band is
the-
playing there. I got to jump on. I got to come up with the name real quick.
Right.
There
Sex Muscle.
was remember that movie Anchorman, and they had Sex Panther.
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
special
60%
It
collection.
works
of the
every
time,
time,
works
60%
every
It
of
works
the time.
every time.
What a great
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Oh,
about
that's
that
so
movie way
good.
too much lately for some reason.
It's got to be like the whole fascination I have with fragrances lately, because Sex Panther and
Yeah,
yeah.
that could be part of it actually.
There you go.
my midlife crisis. Men's fragrance.
Yes. Yes. You need an
That's about
Entransient.
40 bottles now.
He's not lying.
Ridiculous.
Oh,
No, I'm not.
Dude, everyone in the band smells just like fucking amazing now. It's awesome.
Yeah.
He got us
Basically
all fancy
everybody for
cologne
their
for our
birthday.
birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like if I'm
I just-
leaving the house
got-
for more than like 2 seconds, I put it on because I want it to be like my trademark smell. It's so good.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Lalique's Encre Noir à l'extrême. It
How the
smells
hell
like
did we? Why are we talking about this
Vetiver,
right now?
cedar,
Because it's awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Because
is.
we didn't talk about wrestling first.
It's true.
warm smokiness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, that's the one difference. We didn't start
Yeah.
there and then work our way to
One
to
of the
this.
best smelling progressive bands ever. Entransient.
That's
That's
that will
yeah,
be
there
our
you go.
claim to
Probably
fame
a true
if I have
story.
anything to do
Yes.
with it.
So I was wondering about like how did the band get started? So I learned that the Bake Sale was like the second show you guys did. But how did you guys get together? How did it form? And I know Doug came in later, but what was the nucleus, and then what was the driver to get Doug in there?
Matt's good at telling the story.
Okay.
He knew that was coming.
I was right before you said that, I was just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
So me and Scott used to be in a progressive metal band called Silent Lapse. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of them, probably not. But anyways, we were with them. We were with them for a while. And in like between 2012 and 13, we were playing quite a few shows, and we met Nick, we met Jeremy. So we kind of knew them already. But towards the end of 2013, that band was running on fumes and really petering out, and the writing was on the wall that it was basically done. So me and Scott were kind of just like, well, we want to kind of do something else anyway. So let's just do that. And let's get a hold of Nick and Jeremy and see if they're in too. I think the first time we met was with me, Scott, and Nick in Scott's basement. And we were drinking whiskey and watching Devin Townsend's Retinal Circus DVD. That was a good time. And that's when we talked about, we want to get Jeremy in on this too. And then once we got with him, I think once Jeremy was like, hell yeah, I'm in, we jammed maybe a week after that. I don't know. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah. With another guy who
with Ross
didn't end up working out.
That didn't really jive. And then Jeremy recommended Ryan Cunningham because he knew him. So Ryan was with us for 10 months, maybe. I don't think it was a
whole year. Yeah.
And then once
we wrote and recorded an album in that time and released it, did some shows. Like it was very productive 10 months.
He was in the band when I saw you guys.
Yep.
And then
he just kind of ran out of time.
Yeah.
And then he quit, and I mentioned Doug, and then nothing happened because everyone just kind of forgot about it.
I love that part of the story.
And then we played a show. It's just the four of us, and we were like, yeah, that's not the greatest.
Yeah.
And then I was like, guys, Doug. And then Scott was like, oh, duh. So the audition was totally a formality. He was in the band before he even showed up.
Nice. Yeah, and Nick and I hadn't met him yet, but
I had played with him.
We just kind of automatically had a good vibe.
Yeah,
and it's like, even if this guy plays like garbage, we'll work with him. We'll figure this out.
Well, and I knew it. And I knew it.
Well, he only had a Warrior guitar. He only had this pointy Warrior guitar. So the first thing Jeremy said is, that guitar is not going to work out for this band.
Right. I was thinking I would have to borrow someone else's. Yeah.
A BC Rich?
We were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah, that's what it was.
No, it's a Jackson.
Jackson? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me and Doug, actually, we used to jam in a band called Full Frontal. Best cover band of all time. Years ago.
Awesome. Cool. So something I like to do with Fans with Bands, again, kind of in the origin theme, is to talk about like the very first concerts and albums you guys acquired. So let's start with albums, and this could be CD, cassette, whatever, because I know that you guys are children. But let's start with Nick. What was the very first album, tape, CD that you got?
It was Pearl Jam 10.
Nice.
That I got with my own money. That or Stone Temple Pilots, the one with the baby riding the little horse thing and with Vaseline.
Purple.
Oh, yeah, purple. Yeah.
Either purple or 10. It was. I might have been at the same time.
Awesome. And were you like a child of the grunge era?
Yeah. Well, my brother was a pretty big influence on me. He was a big fan of Rush and Dream Theater. So that was how I got my first love of music, and then from there, the 90s alternative, American Pie, and all that type of stuff kind of took over.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Doug, how about you?
I want to say the first album I bought was a cassette. It was, I think, Skid Row's self-titled album, if I remember right.
Nice.
Because I remember my oldest brother was really big into Skid Row, and of course, being the youngest brother, I just wanted to do whatever he was doing.
Right.
And so I kept stealing the cassette from him. I think he kept getting bad. So finally, I saved up my money and bought it for myself. So I'm pretty sure that was the first one that I got.
Awesome. Excellent. Matt.
What was the first album? I don't want to say, it's embarrassing.
Oh, come on.
No, it's fine.
I think I know this.
So, you do know it, and you're gonna go, oh.
Yeah, I do.
So you guys, yeah, you do.
Preemptive facepalming.
Remember that band called Good Charlotte?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh, I remember.
Young and Hopeless, man. I was like 13 years old. That was like totally like marketed towards my age group, and But hey, man, like 2 years later, I was listening to like fucking Rain and Blood, so it was a gateway.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
No, I started. I mean, I'm trying to think when music really clicked with me. Probably, I remember like back in like the late '90s R&B stuff that was on the radio. I remember thinking that was all that in a bag of chips.
Boyz II Men was also one of my first matches.
But yep. But
awesome. I'm
and
trying
then,
to think. Like I remember the
was,
name, but what kind of music was good, Charlotte? Was that like the?
It was pop punk. That was kind of my gateway because, I mean, I listened to a lot of 92.1 back then, which was like the alternative radio out here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got into rock music.
What was that alternate music fest too? Because I think they were on there.
Is it the Vans tour?
The Warped Tour?
Yeah, Warped Tour.
Warped Tour, yeah.
Or Warped Tour, yeah. That's Vans Warped Tour.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
Don't ask why I know that.
Yeah, well, I went to one. I'll be honest.
I still remember the first. What really like got me into metal though was when I heard. I remember when System of a Down's Texas City came out, and that just changed my life.
Yeah,
that blew me away.
Yeah. I used to belt that out at top volume in the car.
Who did?
Going hoarse, and people are like,
"Who didn't, man?
Why can't you talk, dude?" System of a Down.
Surge's fault.
Yeah. Jeremy, how about you?
Is everyone in the band a metal fan?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
absolutely.
Who's everyone's favorite metal band?
Oh, nice.
This is tough.
Iron
Maiden's up there. Maiden and Priest are up there.
Yeah, I think for me,
it's really hard to
Metallica
pick
guy.
one. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Matt's got the.
It's changed a lot over the years. For
Maiden,
me. Yeah.
I got into Maiden pretty early too.
Yeah.
I would say like Opeth, but again, like they have also evolved and changed quite a bit. I mean,
for
that's
sure.
the
right
thing. It's like when I first got into metal, it was kind of all about like sort of hard rock, and then Megadeth and Metallica were huge at the time, so obviously that was going to be. I was always more into Megadeth, but and that was one of the first ones that I bought. So that segues nicely.
Oh,
Thanks,
nicely, awesome.
But actually, if you go back even further, the very first thing that I can recall spending my own money on was a cassette in 1988 or 89 of the California Raisins singing blues songs.
Oh yeah.
And so it was just a bunch of like random Motown session guys.
Right. Heard it on the grapevine.
Good musicianship.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that before because I think we might have had that in our household.
I'm pretty sure my dad
lots of California Raisin stuff.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And now I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, that commercial was
like every Christmas we'd watch the California Raisins claymation special.
Yep. I had the California
tradition.
Raisins Christmas album too.
Oh man.
And I hate Christmas music. So
oh my god.
That's how much I love the Raisins.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Dude, go back to the Raisins from earlier.
Did anyone listen to the Rob Halford Christmas album that came out like 2 years ago?
I have it.
I do too. It's so awesome.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
It's the album I didn't think I needed.
Get it. It's like when I first saw it, I was just like, well, it's Rob Halford, so it's going to be awesome. But it's better than I thought it was.
Really?
That's for sure. Yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah. Wow. All right.
He's a metal god. He can't do anything wrong.
That's true.
That's right. Scott, how about you? What was your first metal album, or what got you into metal, and then your first album?
What got me into metal was, I think there was something at the school, I think it was called Jump Rope for Heart. And everyone just jumped rope, and they collected money, and I don't know, you just jumped rope for like 2 hours. But they were playing Metallica's Black Album at the time, which at the time I had notions about metal that it was, not accessible.
Yeah,
a guy like me. But then that kind of, that was the gateway down the rabbit hole. So
I think that was the Black Album for a lot of people. So I think that was the first Metallica album I got was the Black Album. Yeah. Then I worked my way backwards to.
Yeah, that does seem like to be a progression depending on your age, is like where you started in the Metallica stream, because that is a gateway for a lot of people, really. I mean, they started metal almost. I mean, Black Sabbath, Metallica, well, Deep Purple, but
Judas Priest.
Yeah, Judas Priest. Yeah, that's I keep forgetting.
Dude, I saw Priest in 18, and oh my god.
Yeah.
They still got it.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing the very first time I saw Priest was the British Steel tour, and
That's
that
so
was
awesome.
and that was when Iron Maiden was opening for them.
Dude.
That's right. First American tour with Bruce Dickinson on vocals.
Yeah, yeah. It was like
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a
It was
hell of a
awesome.
tour to get to see.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Paul, how about you? What got you into metal? I don't know if we ever talked about that.
It was that California Raisins track.
Yeah.
I was just amazed by their heaviness of their sound. No,
The dark brutality.
So let's see. I'm middle-aged white guy in my 40s. I probably my earliest memory of like a heavy sound being like 6 years old and hearing Eye of the Tiger.
Yes.
You know, like hear that riff, and I was like, I was a little kid, but I was like, that is awesome. What is that? So that was, I remember, a formative song. And then actually the first, like a lot of kids my age, it was sort of like glam rock was like the first kind of gateway a little bit. So like my first cassette was Europe, The Final Countdown.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I love that album. I actually
yeah.
rebought it a few years ago, and I was like, "This is incredible!
Yeah.
Why do people shit on Europe?"
Yeah, it's so good. Like John Norum's solos are all on fire.
Yeah.
Like
So good.
it's everything is
And the clear
like-
intros for the Bad Boys, my God.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
yeah.
Like back,
you know,
back in those days, I mean,
that's the most pumped up song.
Final
ever.
Countdown was so epic.
Like that song is my childhood, just like the instrumental loop of like Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas. And Bill
yeah,
Haley.
yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I would like just sit, I would lie in my bed, close my eyes, and just like play the intro like over and over, and just be like, I was like, God.
Yeah.
And then later, I met a buddy at school who had a cool looking, like, what was it called, Trapper Keeper folder, and it had,
Yeah.
and it was he had like some Iron Maiden folder, and he was like, you know, have you heard of them? I'm like, who, what? So he let me borrow Number of the Beast, and then
Yeah.
life has
Yeah.
changed after that. There's, you know, life before Number of the Beast, and then life after.
Yeah. Changes people.
Jojo, how about you? What got you into metal, and what was your first album?
I don't remember my first, literally the first music other than Sesame Street that I ever heard where it was two bands, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon had just come out.
Oh, wow.
And my older sister would play the heartbeat and the scream, and that would get me out the room when they wanted to leave. And the other one was a band called Nectar, who I just went and saw. They were big in the Midwest in the early 70s, and they had painted the album Remember the Future on the wall, and it was this big psychedelic mural, and I was fascinated by that. And so literally those were the first music. First record I bought, I don't know, it might have been Pink Floyd's Momentary Lapse of Reason.
Oh, nice.
With like my own.
Yeah.
And the first metal show would have been Monsters of Rock 89 or 90. It was the first time I saw Metallica.
Yeah.
And I just gotten there. It was in Miami, Joe Robbie or whatever it was called then. And a massive food fight. There were like 30 minutes between acts.
Yeah.
And I think the Scorpions had just played. And a glass whiskey bottle came from out of nowhere and pegged me in the chest. I literally had a bruise like that.
Oh man!
And then Metallica came on, and one of those
That's
things
so rock and roll,
right? Except I was in pain, so I don't like. I remember being like, "Scorpions, awesome! Metallica."
I think I broke a rib.
His chest pains every time he hears, Entransient.
Right. But that's the only time I've actually ever seen them. But that was my first metal show.
Awesome.
And even then, I still like things like Motorhead and AC/DC over, say, what was going on. Although I saw all of them, like Rat and who were terrible and bloated and fat, even like in the flying. They were already a mess. Great White was great, but yeah, it would have been Monsters of Rock that got me into metal.
Awesome, excellent. And when you were talking about concerts, that segues nicely into another question. And I usually ask about first concerts, but I really want to know, like, what was a concert that like was really important to you? One you went to and it like really had a big impact. And it doesn't have to be metal. It could be, I went to a chamber music of Bach and it was like, wow, it was fucking awesome. Or it could have been the Raisins. You went to see them live.
I mean, my first concert ever was Gigant Tour 2005, and that was pretty life changing. So.
Wow, holy crap!
Yeah,
that was
unreal.
At the deep end.
Yeah, geez.
That still Priest in 2018 though. That was unreal. That was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Awesome. 2018. Who were they playing with?
Deep Purple.
Deep Purple.
Deep Purple.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a show.
Nice. And was what's his name? The Dixie Dregs guitar player. Was he?
Steve Morse.
Yeah. Was he in Deep Purple at that time? So I think he moved on. He's out. He's in.
He would have been.
Kansas or something like that, right?
He's temporarily
He's
like
90s.
taking a break. Yeah. Late 80s, early 90s. He was in Kansas, but he's been in Deep Purple since 98 because I saw them or 96 or something like that because I saw
just
Deep
pulled
Purple,
away
ELP, and Dream Theater in 98
Nice.
together.
Nice.
He just announced he was pulling away this week. His wife has cancer.
Oh,
Yeah.
bummer.
He's going to be with her for that.
Yeah. Let's see. Nick.
The first show that I ever went to was Chicago and the Beach Boys, which was pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
But probably the most memorable like span trip that pretty much changed my life was in 2013. Right after I got divorced, I went on a trip with my brother to we saw Steven Wilson in Cleveland, and then we went to Rossfest in Gettysburg, and where Pain of Salvation and Jolly and all those bands were playing at that time. But I also met Tony Piccoli from ISD at that same time because they were on tour with Pain of Salvation and King Crow, and I didn't know them at all at that time, but so I met him, and then we became friends, and
that's cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
So on and so forth. Yeah,
awesome, very cool. Doug.
I'm trying to think of well, I know what the first concert was that I went to. It was a Leonard Skinner concert when I was I was probably still junior high. Maybe it was high school because it was a friend of mine that also played guitar, and we did the whole thing. Oh, we're going to start a band. And of course we were all just terrible. And all we did was just play for about 5 minutes and then just start playing video games or something.
Right.
But I remember he and his dad were going to Leonard Skinner and they at the ballpark in Lansing. And they had an extra ticket. So I went with them. So I know that was the first one. I don't, it would have to be one of the Metallica concerts, probably the most, I guess, influential.
Yeah.
But I've been to quite a few Metallica concerts, so it's hard to say which one.
Which one? Yeah.
It might have been, yeah. But I'm thinking maybe, and I don't know what year this would have been. It either would have been one of the shows they did with Godsmack. I think it was just them and Godsmack.
I saw that tour. It was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny. I think I saw them at least twice on that tour because I saw them once in Phoenix and then once in Detroit, at different spots of the tour. But yeah, I remember those being really awesome shows because if I remember, it was all in the round. So that was just a cool thing to just see, just them just working all around the stage.
Right.
That's probably the close one I can think of because all the other ones are just kind of a blur.
And when you learn that Sully's just as good as drummer as Shannon Larkin is, or from Godsmack or whatever.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I remember seeing them do their drum solos, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Because I think that's how I got into Godsmack. Was my brother was a big Godsmack fan, and I saw them in Grand Rapids they were the headliner. I can't remember who was the main support, but I remember there's another local band. I want to say it's called Reveille or something like that. It was a rap rock band, which for high school me at the time was oh, this is super cool because that was the big thing at the time.
Right.
And
where are your Jinkos and your?
Were you super into Nickelback then too?
No, that came later, Nick.
Later.
Don't worry.
we always rag on Doug for. We call him the butt rock guy.
No, I without
we
question have the
accuse him of
worst
listening
taste in
to-
music in this band.
Yeah, we accuse him of listening to all sorts of really terrible stuff. He's like, guys, you don't even listen to that.
Butt rock
He did that for the first year,
rock's a
but after
guilty
the first
pleasure.
year, after the
Well,
first
it's
year,
about-
now he's like,
it was-
I love butt rock.
Yeah. Well, it was up until probably up until I got rid of Sirius XM where I was really in like my peak butt rockness.
Yeah.
And once I got rid of Octane and you know and Sirius.
Yeah.
Octane, yep.
That is kind of butt rock central.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
Let's see, Scott, how about you?
It's kind of hard to pick one because it's like all the shows were like right in their time.
Yeah.
Like the first show I went to was Gin Blossoms and Goo Goo Dolls at
Nice.
Michigan Fest in Lansing. And actually Gin Blossoms I still absolutely love. At least that album, New Miserable Experience anyway. But like there was the Creed concert I went to in 8th grade.
Nice.
That couldn't get enough.
Yes.
Three Doors Down and Seven Dust, who I didn't like, and now I love Seven Dust now.
Yeah.
Seven Dust is awesome.
I think I
Yeah,
saw
they're the
that.
only-
imagine
they're
seeing
the
that show
only
on
band I think
Seven
is
Dust
listenable.
being the
They're
ones that
good.
came away not digging.
Jimmy Eat World at the MSU Auditorium was just right for college and would be just right now. That was one of like the first loss of the pandemic that really hit me was Jimmy Eat World was going to be playing at the Loft in like that 400 cap room with
Forgot about that.
That we have also played before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was
Awesome.
bummed that one away. And then that Anathema and Alcest show that I went to with Jeremy. It's part of how this band came about because Jeremy mentioned that sometimes he'd like to do something like that, and that was something that Matt and I were not doing. So it seemed like
Yeah.
But
Cool.
if you're going to do something, it'd be slightly different. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. That's cool to get that kind of timeline. It is true that those shows can kind of fit the time that, they're perfect for that time. It's just like music sometimes, you may ask, what is a favorite song, and it may change over time or it may not, but depends on the person. So Jeremy, what about you?
Like Nick, my first concert was also the Beach Boys, but it was in 1987 with America opening. And the only song I knew from America was Horse with No Name. But yeah, I was 8 years old, and I went with my aunt and uncle or something like that.
Yeah.
The most important one, though, I have to skip over I have to mention a couple other embarrassing shows that I went to. I don't know if they're embarrassing. Maybe like, things have just come around to where it's cool. My second concert was MC Hammer.
Nice.
With En Vogue opening.
That sounds awesome.
But Vanilla Ice was also supposed to be on the bill, but he no-showed.
Oh.
What?
Come on, Vanilla.
Oh.
What?
Man.
But it was whatever. It was 1990.
Yeah.
MC Hammer, whatever.
Big pants and everything.
Huge pants. Those parachute pants were just billowed out, and everybody on stage with them had them.
Yeah.
And I think they must have shot wind up. Like there must have been fans underneath the stage because they were fully inflated. I do remember that very well. Unfortunately, I went and saw him again 2 years later when he was just Hammer. But and then opening for that show was TLC and Boys to Men.
Nice.
But anyway, later that very same year, 1992, I kind of was getting out of pop and rap and all that stuff. And by the time I went and saw Hammer with all of those, I was kind of not into that music anymore. Later that year, I saw Kiss on the Revenge tour, the last tour before they put the makeup back on.
Nice.
Because I was a huge fan of that album. Trickster and Great White opened.
Nice.
Which, it's kind of like there's that weird cross section of where the hair bands were kind of going out, though I'll still maintain Trickster was pretty solid stuff for what it was. And Great White. Great White, yeah, they were fantastic. Bluesy, hard rock sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so that was kind of a big deal. But actually, the next show that I saw was the one that was the big deal, big deal for me, and that was in early 1994. Saw Rush at the Palace in Auburn Hills, near Detroit.
Yeah.
With Primus opening, which I was a huge Primus fan at the time too, and it was incredible. Yeah, that was amazing. And of course, I can think Candlebox opened the first leg or the second leg of that tour. I just remember that there were so many people like, "What the fuck is this shit?" When Les Claypool comes out with his 6-string fretless bass and starts playing "My Name Is Mud."
Yeah.
Like, what is this crap? Ugh. I want to hear Tom Sawyer, which I wanted to hear too. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, that was my first kind of prog show.
Nice.
Proper prog show.
That's a great one.
So that was huge for me. That was super huge for me.
That's awesome. Excellent. I don't think I asked Paul, what was your, I know we talked about first concerts, but what was your pivotal concert, a concert that like meant a lot to you? I'm guessing it's the Raisins, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I never got the chance to see the Raisins live, so I'm working through that in therapy.
Missing out, buddy.
I would say, let's see. I mean, any Iron Maiden concert is always like the best thing in the world. Let's see. You know what comes to mind, which was cool, was I think I can't remember what year, but at Tiger Stadium, the Three Tenors came.
Oh wow!
So Pavarotti,
that's pretty sweet.
Jose Carreras, and Placido Domingo. Like that was really cool as a cultural like city event, like filling a whole stadium with just like these guys who were like the top of their game, and that was pretty wild. That was cool to just be there, and how electric it was to hear those guys sing. So that was really cool.
Awesome. And Jojo, we heard about your first concert, but what was the most pivotal?
It wasn't my
concert for you?
first metal one. But...
Yeah, first metal.
First concert I bought a ticket.
Yeah.
First ticket I bought a concert to, and really any time I've ever seen an iteration after was Pink Floyd 87 tour.
Yeah. Nice.
And then anytime I saw them again in 94, I saw Roger Waters do Dark Side with Nick Mason at the Hollywood Bowl, the Wall tour, and even and now Nick Mason doing Saucerful of Secrets.
Yeah,
which is doing every Pink Floyd song that you never thought you'd ever hear live.
Yeah.
So
everything pre Dark Side.
Yeah, any one of those was at that moment the best show I ever saw. The Wall made me cry. Also, as a Zeppelin fan, I was too young for Zeppelin, but I saw Page and Plant twice.
Oh, cool!
I did too. That's awesome.
Awesome, excellent,
amazing show.
Yeah,
the best show that I ever was like not expecting, but was a little one at the Knitting Factory of the Scatolites, which was just a thumping, where the walls were sweating, and I even was dancing on a table, and that was just yeah. It's
were people throwing dollar bills at you?
I'm sorry.
Were people throwing dollar bills at you?
No, I fell. Stop trying to dance on a damn table. But it was one of those ones where I went and you're not expecting to have just this huge party, and it was like, wow. And I got swept up on it. So, but those shows were great.
Awesome. So sort of along the line of concerts, like for the guys in Entransient, where would you really like to go if you could go anywhere and play a show? Where would you like to go play that show, and what band would you like to have? You could be supporting them, or they could be supporting you. But who would you like to have on the bill? And we'll start with let's go with Nick.
Oh boy, on the spot.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a Steven Wilson fanboy, I would say opening for Porcupine Tree would be the biggest dream come true.
Awesome. Is there any place you want to do that?
What's the amphitheater in Greece?
Oh,
you know what? Dream Theater had the 5 Years in a Lifetime DVD from Dream Theater. Part of that was there. You know what I'm talking about, Jeremy? You remember that?
Sort of. I can't remember the name of it either.
Anyway, there's like an old Greek amphitheater.
The Parthenon?
Yeah, Parthenon.
I think
that's
called the old Greek
Parthenon,
amphitheater.
It's called the old Greek amphitheater.
Yeah.
You know?
That kept coming to mind. I'm like, that can't be the right name.
Yeah.
Awesome. That would be super cool. It kind of reminds me of Pink Floyd's Live in Pompeii too.
Yeah.
So Matt, how about you?
Scotland opening for Biffy Clyro.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere in
One of
Scotland.
us mentioned how much
Yes.
I love Biffy Clyro.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm going to
they're
see
so
Biffy
good.
Clyro this weekend.
oh
Birthday
man,
present for me.
awesome. Any particular place in Scotland? Just anywhere.
Anywhere it could
Glasgow.
be in.
St. Andrews, so we can
I
play
mean-
golf
Glasgow.
first.
Barrel in
Yeah.
Glasgow. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
St. Andrews
Biffy.
Golf.
It's Biffy. They could.
Yeah.
That concert could be in the middle of the wilderness, and 500,000 people would show up. It wouldn't matter.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Doug.
Oh man, like I could think of a place. I'm not sure who I would want to have open though, but I think for me, and Jeremy will get a kick out of this. It's got to be the Tokyo Dome in Japan.
Yes.
I don't know who I'd want to have. Like,
Wrestling.
who I'd want to
Metal?
play with though. What's that? I mean,
Metal?
that would be an obvious choice being in Japan.
Doug would want to open for Trivium and Kill Switch Engage. Right?
Kill Switch actually was a name that popped in my head. Yeah, Kill Switch I would. Those guys, they are very fun live if you've heard.
Yeah.
That's a fun show.
Yeah,
Sure.
they are very good. Oh yeah, Baby Metal.
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
my lord.
yeah. See, I like these guys have better ideas
I
for,
know.
for
I know.
bands to play with than I do. Like I would have said, unfortunately, like I would have said Foo Fighters, but
yeah.
unfortunately, obviously,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
that
probably
that
not
can't
going to happen
but-
for a while, if at all.
yeah, that was very sad. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, Tokyo Dome for sure though.
Cool. Jeremy, how about you?
So Doug kind of got me on the Tokyo Dome thing. I also Tokyo Dome, but it would be X Japan. I don't know if anybody aside from my bandmates are familiar with them, but they're like one of my all-time favorite bands. Like, you know, if you've never listened to them before, they're like a mixture of thrash metal, glam rock, glam
Excellent.
metal, like super pretty ballads, orchestral stuff, and all mashed together. And yeah, Tokyo Dome opening for X Japan. Or
Japan.
yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Jeremy, didn't you go to New York to see them like a few years ago now?
Yeah, Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
Wow.
It was, yeah. And I saw them a few years before that in Chicago, and then they're kind of broken up again. But yeah, that was a huge thing for me.
Awesome. And Scott, how about you?
I don't know where, but I would like to play with Alice in Chains. Any
Nice.
incarnation of Alice in Chains.
Yes.
I haven't seen them,
That would be amazing.
which is the weirdest thing, but they're my favorite band. And for some reason, I've just never seen them live.
Oh wow.
I don't know why that is.
Someday, Scott.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're very good live.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Sage.
Yeah.
Sage.
Oh.
Sorry.
This is kind of a recreation of our practice time. Every
Yeah,
time we
that's
come
usually-
over, we practice
Yep.
at Nick's house, and it always
That's how
like,
Sage treats us.
this dog acts like she wants to kill us, and then after about 10 minutes of us being there, she's like, "Oh, hi, everybody,"
Yeah.
and then
I
starts
remember
licking
you guys.
Doug's leg. It's
Yeah.
really weird. Incessantly
Yeah, she
licking
likes
Doug's
licking
leg.
legs, and apparently mine especially.
That's
In the
awesome.
summertime
Yeah.
when I'm wearing
Yeah.
shorts.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for being on Fans with Bands. I really appreciate it. I've got just one last question. You may know it. It's the super controversial question I ask all the time. Pineapple or no pineapple on pizza? Jeremy.
Pen pineapple pen.
My wife likes it, but I don't. I'll eat it
Yeah, but you're not
if it's
going to
on there because pizza. I mean, you could rub it on the balls of a sweaty guy that just left the gym that has, I don't know, like farted in his gym shorts about 20 times. I'd still eat it. So I mean, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not saying much for pineapple, but I think pineapple's an abomination.
I think that's
I'll eat
Papa
it because
John's
I have no
pizza.
standards.
Yeah, that's Papa John's new special pizza, I think.
Oh, okay.
Papa John sucks.
Yeah,
so
the
Yeah.
abomination crotch
Me?
rotch.
I feel like as a
Yeah.
society, we've crossed the threshold into like there's barbecue chicken pizza. Like
Which is awesome.
it is awesome. But like, you know, at this point the rules are gone. But,
Yeah,
like,
there are none.
pineapple,
The free jazz
Absolutely.
portion of it.
if you want pineapple, get the
You-
pineapple.
Oh yeah, you can have it, but you would not order it, would you, Scott? Or would you?
I've ordered it before.
All right.
Oh.
No worries.
Barbecue sauce, actually.
All
I think,
right, there you
go.
was
Good
one of the
combo.
Italians with ham, pineapple, or bacon, pineapple, chicken, and barbecue sauce. I think
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Sweet and tangy.
It's just bread
Yeah.
with
With goodness.
cheese and some kind of sauce on it. So.
Like Jeremy said, it doesn't matter. I love pizza.
Right. Sweaty crotch.
Right.
It's pizza.
Yeah.
Eat it.
Feta, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Nick, how about you?
I did one time in college, but you know,
Right.
true story.
Everyone
He's an
goes through that
experimental
phase.
period in his life.
No,
Time
I
and place for everything, and it's college.
yeah, and generally it's not for me. No,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would I would never go out of my way to ever put pineapple on. No.
Doug.
Absolutely not. I don't want pineapple anywhere near my pizza.
All right. Matt.
I can take it or leave it. I've never ordered it for myself, but I'll eat it.
You'll eat it.
I have
would
had a pizza. I
Dominated,
have had a
so-
I have had a pizza that had pear and goat cheese on it, and that was really good. Or was it
Really?
feta?
That-
Yeah,
I don't know about that, man.
You were somewhere fancy.
Yeah.
I was somewhere. I was in Portland, Maine,
Yeah.
and it was on. They had all these weird pizzas, and it was one of
Wow.
the best pizzas I've ever had, actually.
Wow. All right.
But no, pineapple's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
But you wouldn't necessarily order it for yourself. It was
No,
on
if
there.
I'm ordering a
You'll eat
pizza,
it.
if I'm ordering a pizza myself, I either get a ton of meat or I'll do like or I'll just do like sausage and peppers. Sausage and
Nice.
peppers is like one of
Oh,
the
yeah.
greatest
That's a good
combinations.
Ooh,
ever.
banana pepper. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Jojo, how about you? Pineapple, no pineapple.
Personally, I just like a cheese pizza. Like,
Nice. Yeah.
That's my thing.
Very nice.
Just
Yeah.
straight up platonic ideal.
A lovely
I-
pizza just for JoJo's.
Yeah, I'm okay with pineapple if someone gets it, but
Yeah.
and the whole pear with feta, that's a tart. That's not a pizza. That's a pizza.
I mean, yeah, okay. It was still good.
Yeah.
Matt's like, I ate a whole bunch of it. And it was
I don't
great.
care.
Bananas and ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, cheese pizza for me.
Awesome. And Paul, I can't remember whether you were a pineapple guy or no.
Yeah, remember like not too long ago for like 30 seconds when Judas Priest was like, "Hey, we're gonna tour with one guitar,"
Oh.
and everybody was like, "What the hell are you smoking?"
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think pineapple pizza is sort of like that. Like, there's so many other options. Like, go with the right option. You don't want to.
Right.
Andy Sleep is so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great analogy. I love it.
Would you order Andy Sneap on a pizza?
I would order Andy
Oh,
Sleep
yeah,
on a
hell
pizza.
yeah.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
also over pineapple.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks again for being on Fans with Bands. Really appreciate it.
Thank
And-
you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chuck.
And can't wait to see you
Nice to
guys
see
live.
guys.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, thank you, Jojo, for
Paul,
coming
we'll
out.
see you
Thanks,
soon.
thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Look
All
forward
right,
to
guys.
April 23rd.
Cool.
April 23rd at the Love and Touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
Get
right.
lovingly touched by three
What a great
fans.
venue name.
Full of sweaty
Yeah.
guys. Fantastico.
Yeah. They may or may not have pizza near somewhere in their nether regions.
Hey. We might
Jeremy
just
will
rub
eat
it
it.
on ourselves and toss it out to the audience and then just watch everybody dissipate.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks to Scott, Doug, Nick, Matt, Jeremy, Jojo, and Paul for joining me on this episode of Fans with Bands. It was awesome to be able to talk with the guys in Entransient and learn more about their new album called Ghosts in the Halls. If you love the music of Porcupine Tree, you will dig Entransient. Seriously, awesome music. See the show notes for all the details and links. These are tough times for everyone in the creative industries such as music. Your support of live streaming, purchasing music, and merchandise is critical. If you can help out your local artists, please do. If you are in the Michigan area, consider following the Playing in the Detroit Area Tonight Facebook page. It is a place for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show and leaving a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jams.